with us. Obviously, this was not quite what we expected to have Coach Chadwell here with us in Caryville, Tennessee, but we're trying to make lemonade out of lemon. So, Coach, it's great to have you here.
Brandon, appreciate it.
Would you like to introduce this pretty lady next to you?
Yeah, this is my beautiful mother. She is a Jacksboro Eagle. So, Sydney
But
Chadwell
follow
here.
it, be sure and give to this place.
So, one of the main reasons, her and my father, that I was fortunate enough to be in the position I am. So, very proud to be her son.
Yeah, and it's great to have from the city of Caryville as well, Patrick Peebley with us. Everybody knows Pat, though, I think.
A few of us.
But Coach, can you kind of tell us a little bit, we'll just talk about you and Cindy and Jim, and tell us a little bit about what football meant to you growing up and what this community meant to you growing up.
Well, from a young age, I can remember, vividly going to practices at Campbell County High School with my dad, and as you know, as you're young, you're influenced by what your parents do and what your father does, especially, and so I can remember from early age just always being on the field, and sports in general were always big, big in our household. Obviously, my father was a coach. My mom thought she was one, and it always was impactful. And the thing that I remember about it is I remember the influence that it had. I remember coming home as a young boy. My mom tells this story, and I called her a bad name, but I heard it practice. And I remember her telling me, those players are important. They can impact you in a positive way or a negative way. And I've always remembered that. And so I've always, any team that I've coached, I've always tried to use that influence in a positive way. So, but sports are hugely important. Football, obviously, and then being from this part of the area, part of the state of Tennessee, I'm proud to be in East Tennessee, and I'm proud to be from Campbell County and raised in Caryville. It's something that I always take with me. It's a part of me. I learned community, I learned family, I learned hard work, and the value of getting opportunity and education. And how important that was. And I believe wholeheartedly I wouldn't be today where I am without being raised in this area by the parents that I was raised by, and the support that I had.
Yeah, certainly. Pat?
And obviously, along that same line, along that same path, and I can certainly relate to this, but I want to hear your perspective. When did you realize you were going to transition from player to coach, and how did coming from a coaching family impact that?
Well, I think when I went to college, I wanted to be a coach. My parents were teachers, and so I wanted to be a teacher. My mom said, "You're not being a teacher. I don't want you to be a coach." That's what she told me. Both her kids are coaches, so imagine that. But I knew early on that I loved the sport of football, and I loved how it impacted people, and I knew how coaches can impact you. Obviously how Dad impacted a lot of people. Mayor Morton said that earlier tonight, and you impact people through the sport. And so that was something that I gravitated to. And I also was realistic that I wasn't really that good of a player, so I knew I didn't have much after college, but I wanted to stay involved with it. And I knew how coaches impacted me at the high school level and through college, and I wanted to try to have that same impact. And when you're around coaches that do that, gravitate toward that. The lessons that I learned from my coaches are what I carry today and with my teams that I'm fortunate enough to coach.
Well, and Coach, you were saying something about the things that happen to us while we're young are so impactful. Mm-hmm. And that kind of folds into a couple of things. I want to pick on your poor mama here. But for me, this playground that we're working to build, a lot of people don't realize, Coach, more than 1 in 5 people here in Campbell County, Tennessee, under the age of 65 are disabled. That's more than double the national average. So we're really working to change the conversation that happens. We're working to give these people, and we're not just talking children that may have disabilities. We may be talking parents, grandparents, great-grandparents that are raising children, an opportunity to play in a safe environment so that those interactions they have as children that stay with them all through life that you were talking about are positive ones. And for me, this project, and so many people on our team, this project's an act of love, and we all kind of have a reason why. And it's just so fitting that we have you here and your mama here, because for me, this project goes back to when your mom was a school teacher. And you and my great-grandmother Phyllis treated every single child like they mattered, because they do. And like they were important because they are. And you guys never treated any child differently. You treated them with respect and love and kindness. And so for me, this playground really links back to what you taught me as a child. So it's great that you're here, Coach Chadwell, helping us spearhead this initiative, helping us bring awareness to it through your platform, because I was personally inspired because of my grandmother and your mom. And Cindy, tell us a little bit about working with children in your profession as a special education teacher.
They're unique. They're very unique. Sometimes you have to go over and over everything, but the first one that says, "Hey, I got that," it warms your heart.
Yeah.
Phyllis and I did. We worked together for 30 years, and we tried to do with them what other children, it was normal to them. I'll never forget taking them to Knoxville, and we went over to the Hyatt Regency. If you've been there, they have this elevator, goes up and down. We took about 8 of them that had never been to Knoxville, barely been out of the county, in that elevator, and when it started up, whoo! We went over and had pizza, took them to the mall, things they'd never seen, things they would never get to do if we hadn't done it for them and with them. But we loved them, and that's the first thing you got to do. You got to love them, and you got to respect them. They're children. It's difficult, but it's very rewarding.
And you're talking about these children that have never maybe ridden an elevator. It's sad that here in our community, we have children that may have never had an opportunity to go down a slide or to swing in a swing set.
There's not playgrounds anymore like that.
Not that's truly inclusive. You know, so many of these playgrounds meet this kind of bare minimum level of being American with Disability Act, ADA compliant. But when we're talking inclusive, we're talking above and beyond. You know, we're talking opportunities for children that use a mobility device like a cane or walkers or have leg braces, to them to actually have a playground where they can play safely with their friends and their peers.
Awesome.
And Coach Chadwell, what do you kind of remember about your mom's career working with special needs children? What do you kind of remember about that, and how did that impact you and where you are today?
Well, you know, I do remember, especially after I left elementary school, middle school, getting into high school, coming back down and being a part of her class, you know, and she'd say, "Hey, how about you know, help out," whether it was just being there and saying hi and just, you know, and being trying to be a light with them. But I remember how much it meant for her to make an impact daily, you know, because maybe it took longer to make an impact, but she kept going. She kept going. Even when it looked like they went backwards, and they did a bunch of times, she kept going forward. And so that impacted me in a way where, you know, in coaching, you don't win all the time. You know, I'm sure if we were 11, I wouldn't be here. And so, but you learn that resiliency. You learn that, hey, I have a goal, I have a vision, and nothing's going to stop it. And I think seeing that every day and knowing the challenge that it faced and continue to get back up and keep going while raising a family, that made an impact. You know, and to this day, you know, at Coastal Carolina, we have a life program at Coastal Carolina. And so one of our top managers is Casey K. Casey's a graduate of our life program. He leads our team out of the tunnel. He's part of our program. And he has made a tremendous impact. He breaks down our team. And so I think it's very important to allow students with disabilities to do as much positive and normal things that they can do. And one of the big things in Myrtle Beach is Savannah's Playground. Mm-hmm. Savannah's Playground is an ADA playground that's right there in Myrtle Beach, and it was created for special needs and opportunities. And it's the biggest playground in the state of South Carolina from that standpoint, and it's an awesome deal. And so, and then the last thing I would share with that too is our life program. Every year they bring over their students, and they get to go through our football things with us in the weight room and some of those things. And that's important to me, just because I know from my mother that just feeling like they're a part and feeling like they have the opportunity to be a part of what is important to them. And so I've always remembered that. And that's why this is important to me, and that's why I'm here.
Like I said, we all kind of have our reasons why. For me, it's because there's kids in our community that need it. There's a community that needs something to rally behind. And I just can't wait to the day till this is built, where every day I drive by it and I think about my mama. We wouldn't be anything right now without the team that we have. We've got almost 30 young people. Our average age is right at 30 that are working to build this playground and really change the conversation about what young people can do in our community. You know, so often we hear, especially being a millennial, right? They're entitled, they don't want to work, they don't want to do this. And a lot of that's true. I'm not going to fight against that, right? But what we can do is we can start to change the conversations in our community. And we can have communities where, just like you were saying, Cindy, you got to love everybody, right? And where we love one another. Have you had any examples in your coaching career where love has really impacted you and made a significant difference on the field or off the field or with a student or in your professional career that maybe you could highlight for us?
Well, before I get to that, let me say too, the value of team, right? And you mentioned you got 30 of you, and I'm jealous y'all all 30. Y'all look better than all of us right now.
I skew the age on that really far.
But what's, being a part of a team, as a coach, you want everybody to embrace the role and own the role, and the role is all significant. And that's one thing I would share with everybody listening is how special that is that you want to make an impact in your own community. A lot of times as young people, you feel like, hey, I've got to leave, I got to go somewhere else to try to make a powerful impact. And that you're being able to do it here in your community that you love and you care about, that you were raised in, and that you're going to impact future generations. That's why you do it. And to be part of that team, I commend your team because that's not easy. That's a big vision. $600,000 is a big vision. And you're already halfway there, and you're going to blow by it. I can't wait to see what y'all build next. Maybe I'll come back for that one. But I think if you look at any team that's successful, the common denominator is love. Love of sport, love of self, but most importantly, love of each other. And any team that I've been a part of that's had success, and I say success, winning at a high level, that's the common denominator from it. And I could remember, coming to Coastal Carolina in 2019, and we were all about self, and that was it. There was no unity. There was no common bond like this wonderful playground. There was no common purpose to bring people together. And the way you bring people together and groups together is to have a common purpose. And so what did we do? We didn't change the players. We just changed their mindset. It was about doing it for others, not for yourself. And that's why I'm so impressed with you and what you've, your committee and your team has done is that you've sacrificed yourself for others, and that's true love. And that's how our team's done.
And Pat and I are just two incredibly small cogs in this big team. And again, I just can't emphasize enough how proud I am to be a member of this team, because every single person that we have on there, every single young person that we have involved and engaged is thinking of unique and creative ways, and every single day they're texting back and forth. And just this morning when we decided we needed to postpone this for everybody's safety, postpone tonight's fundraiser, the unique thoughts that were coming out of it just really let me know how fortunate we are to have such a great team. But Coach, thank you for being here. Cindy, thank you for being here. I hate tonight didn't turn out to be quite the celebration that we had hoped for, but Monday we're going to be showing this video off. We're going to be talking about you. We're going to be talking about the whole Chadwell family. We're going to be talking, most importantly though, about inclusive play, right? And how, whether it's memories that you make at the football field or you make on the playground, those memories, that love that you show each other, that respect, that breaking down barriers, that working together, wherever that happens as a child is so important. And we're missing a major element of that in our community. And because of your support, because of having your name attached to our efforts, because of having your mom and dad's support, and because of having people like the City of Campbell County, State Representative Dennis Powers, Mayor E.L. Morton, all of those forces working together with our committee and the business owners are going to make this dream a reality. So, Coach, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Cindy, thank you.